Hello everyone to today's meditation session. Today we are going to talk about Jhana meditations. Jhana meditations are a sequence of meditations when one goes through different states of mind. These states of mind are often called meditative absorptions. Absorptions are similar to concentrations, although in comparison to concentrations, absorptions require that someone feels the mind, the state of the mind so deeply that you become totally absorbed in that state of mind, that you're totally absorbed in it. So maybe it's best to try to do jhana meditations in order to get a feeling about what jhanas are. So today we will do a very short session of jhana meditation, more only as a short insight into what jhana meditation is. But if one wishes to fully become absorbed in jhana meditations, it is said that at least 2 hours of jhana meditation practice is necessary in order to go through all of these jhanas, all of these states of mind. So for beginning, let us stretch the body, move our shoulders, neck, check if we are sitting properly with our spine straight and erected. And now let us focus on our breath. Let's breathe the air in and out slowly, but naturally, not too slow, without any disturbance to our natural rhythm of breathing. Breathe in and out, and become gently joyful, happy that we are breathing. We can be happy that we are breathing, that we are breathing in, breathing out. And now let us bring our attention to the mind. Let us accept the mind as our mind, my mind, and be happy that it is my mind. You can become joyful for this, even a bit excited. This is my mind. And let us become absorbed in this happiness. Happiness in being in my mind, having my mind. We can allow ourselves to be very deeply happy for our breath and especially for our mind. And let us be absorbed in this happiness. Happy mind, joyful mind. And now, let us slowly change this happiness, this joy, into bliss, bliss and calmness, with a sense of equanimity. Equanimity is becoming stronger and stronger, but slowly. First, let us change the happiness into bliss. Bliss and calmness. Bliss is still happy. Blissful mind is still happy, but its happiness is not emotional so much as it was before. It's like a serene happiness. More mature type of happiness, or even a state of mind about the happiness as well. We should also try to be one-pointed in our mind in order that we become totally absorbed in it, into our mind. And where our mind is going inside itself, inside our mind, it becomes totally blissful. It's like the most spiritually active introspection. Which leaves total absorption. We can invite calmness and go into it. And become absorbed into the calm mind, calm state of mind. At some point, we might even feel that emotions are not there anymore, but only calmness. Calm, serene, one-pointed mind, pointed towards itself. mind looking into itself so deeply that it becomes a deeper mind, a much deeper state of mind than it was before. A mind that is not shallow anymore. A mind that is becoming a real mind. A mind that is acknowledging that it is more, that it also was more before, because the mind was always there. And so the mind acknowledges that the mind itself is something deeper than what it was before, but at the same time it always was. Now it's time to think about the boundless space that is everywhere, and to feel this space as space. If we wish to fully feel the space, we need to mentally erase everything which is inside the space. Because if something is inside the space, that is not space. That is space with something else. Be it planets, stars, galaxies, even our own body. We need to erase all these objects because we are trying to feel and be absorbed in space. And think about the space itself. Now we can ask ourselves, what's behind the space? Is it only my mind? Or there are also other minds? Or is it even a field of consciousness? And so we try to absorb our mind into the field of boundless consciousness. Just become absorbed in this field of boundless consciousness. And consciousness is becoming our state of mind. Because we are becoming consciousness. And we acknowledge that we always have been consciousness even before. But our mind itself is consciousness. And consciousness can be different. There can be a negative consciousness, and there can be a medium quality consciousness. There can be high quality consciousness and extremely high quality consciousness. But all of them are consciousness. All have something in common. Still, we strive to absorb only into the best of the consciousness, the highest of the consciousness, and leave the negative consciousness behind. But without cultivation of consciousness, only by letting this field of positive consciousness become our state of mind, only by allowing ourselves to become absorbed into this field of positive, extremely high consciousness. But at the same time, remaining fully equanimous and not step back into the field of emotions, only being absorbed without being emotional, but still be absorbed in this field of pure consciousness. Because if we become emotional at this stage, we cannot do absorption into the consciousness itself. So we remain equanimous and still behold the field of pure consciousness. And be absorbed in the purest of consciousness. Now it's time to ask ourselves if there is something more, if there is something beyond consciousness. What would happen if we would detract the consciousness? What would be on another plane? another plane of being, beyond the consciousness. You can say that if we detract the field of consciousness, there should be a field that bears the consciousness, the plane from which consciousness evolves, but is not consciousness itself. We can name it pre-consciousness, we can name it infinity, infinite potentiality. We can even name it nothingness. Or we can remain with the description, name as pre-conscious field of pre-consciousness, which is not consciousness itself, but from which consciousness evolves. So let us ponder upon that and try to become absorbed in it. Absorbed in a field which is not even consciousness, but from which consciousness evolves. And now, let us think if there is something even further than that, even beyond the pre-conscious, beyond the pre-consciousness. What can it be? There should be something totally pure, because if we detract the pre-consciousness, it needs to be even purer. Because the more we go into the from different planes of existence, the purer they're becoming. Each consecutive plane is much more pure than previous. So we can say that we are trying to become absorbed into a plane which is neither consciousness nor pre-consciousness. So it could be pre-consciousness. And that pre-consciousness, we can say that is already a highly pure field of pure purity, which is neither perception nor perception. In field in which we cannot focus or concentrate on something specific, but at the same time we cannot be unfocused because we are so deeply immersed in the field itself. So some people call this field of purity, others pure divine, others a field of neither perception nor non-perception. So let us try and become absorbed in it. This was a short insight into the field of neither perception nor perception. It is so vast and hard to imagine, feel that it deserves much more time to be, especially to be fully grasped, but what else to be fully absorbed in it. And also, all our today's meditation session was a very abridged, shortened version of jhana meditations. We normally recommend to spend much more time in it because and also to try to find your own descriptions of each of the states which because someone's mind might become agitated due to misunderstanding of the description of the state of mind, the description of the jhanas. So it is better to use more appropriate naming, more appropriate description that is more easily acceptable for you. And of course, the process of absorption requires time and also requires repetitions. It is totally natural that we cannot become fully absorbed in the first sitting, in the first session. We should allow ourselves people say at least once per week, 2 to 3 hours, to try and become fully absorbed into the jhana meditation. And it's not necessary if we cannot do it every day. And at the same time, we should be careful with describing each of the states, each of the jhanas, and we should also be careful with moving from one absorption to another absorption. Especially if we hear, if we are led into this absorption technique, our mind can unconsciously try to be absorbed into something else, because the person who was leading made some notion about what this made some concept about what the absorption should be about. And sometimes we can be even misled, not consciously, but we can just think that we are going into the proper side of absorption, that we are becoming absorbed into the real sphere, real state of mind, but we can actually become not the best consciousness because of these misunderstandings. And we can also remain on previous levels of absorptions because we misunderstood the description. So, but generally, the more time we allow, the more possible it is that we are becoming absorbed in mind, in pre-mind, in pre-pre-mind, in consciousness, in pre-consciousness, in pre-pre-consciousness. And at the same time, we should still think about the qualities. So, for example, when we talk about being absorbed into the field of consciousness, we might feel that all the consciousness is the same, either negative or positive consciousness, everything is the same. It's not like this. So still there is a huge difference between positive and negative consciousness. And of course, we are only trying to become absorbed into the most positive type of consciousness when we are doing the absorption into the consciousness, but at the same time we try to be equanimous, and only this can lead to further even harder absorptions, such as absorptions into nothingness and even pre-nothingness or pre-pre-consciousness. So I hope that you liked today's shortened version of Jhana meditation. I hope that you allow yourself much more time when you will try to practices on your own. And next time we'll probably talk about some Kriya yoga or some minor or micro chakra meditation. Have a good time and see you soon.